Top 8 Rivalries in Snooker History. In the electrifying world of snooker, where precision meets suspense, fans are kept on the edge of their seats by the thrilling clashes of titans. As the most prominent stars in snooker engage in intense battles for supremacy, they create moments of such closeness and excitement that fans are irresistibly drawn in. Join us as we delve into the greatest rivalries ever witnessed in snooker, provoking questions that challenge everything you thought you knew about the sport. Number 8. Fred Davis v. John Pulman. During the nascent stages of snooker, Fred Davis and John Pulman emerged as pivotal figures in the sport's rivalry. In an era predating color television and characterized by a limited player pool, these two Q artists shone brightly. Initially, Joe Davis, Fred's brother, dominated the scene, clinching 15 consecutive World Championship titles. However, his retirement in 1946 paved the way for Fred Davis, who claimed titles in 1948, 1949, and 1951, including a notable 22-14 victory over Pulman in the 1951 semi-finals, marking the onset of their significant clashes. Fred continued his winning streak, triumphing over Pulman in 1955 and 1956. Nonetheless, Pulman managed to reverse the tide in 1964 and 1965, securing victories with scores of 19-16 and 37-36 respectively. The rivalry reached its zenith as Pulman achieved 5 consecutive wins in 1966. However, Davis staged a comeback, clinching the last 2 encounters of that year. Ultimately, Pulman held the upper hand in their head-to-head record with 15 wins to Davis's 12. This historic snooker rivalry epitomizes the competitive essence of the sport and defines its formative years. Number 7. Ray Reardon v. John Spencer. During the late 1960s and early 70s, as snooker surged in popularity, Ray Reardon and John Spencer emerged as pivotal figures in the sport. Despite Reardon's 6 world titles overshadowing Spencer's 3, their rivalry was closely contested. The Welshman's adept long potting and strategic prowess clashed with the Englishman's break-building skills and exceptional cue power. As snooker gained visibility through the colour television, the duo featured in the first 2 finals of the BBC's Pot Black in 1969 and 1970. Their rivalry extended to consecutive World Championship semi-finals, with Reardon prevailing 37-33 in 1970, only for Spencer to triumph 34-15 the following year. Noteworthy encounters included a thrilling 23-22 semi-final victory for Dracula en route to his 2nd world title in 1973. Furthermore, the inaugural Masters final in 1975 witnessed Spencer securing a 9-8 win on the final black. Their 45 meetings resulted in a deadlock of 22 wins each, underscoring the equality of their rivalry. The final showdown occurred in the last 64 of the 1988 International Open, with Spencer narrowly defeating Reardon 5-4 in a fitting final frame decider. This balanced competition defined an era where Reardon and Spencer led the way in the evolving landscape of snooker. Number 6. Steve Davis v. Alex Higgins. In the 1980s snooker scene, a riveting rivalry took center stage between Steve Davis and Alex Higgins, spotlighted in the recent BBC iPlayer film The Rack Pack. Davis, renowned for his composed demeanor, epitomized professionalism through rigorous practice sessions. Contrastingly, Higgins, the charismatic and flamboyant people's champion, emerged as snooker's first natural talent, instrumental in popularizing the sport. Their inaugural significant showdown occurred in the 1980 World Championship quarter-final, where Higgins emerged victorious with a 13-9 triumph. However, the 23-year-old Davis swiftly retaliated with an impressive 16-6 victory in the final of the same year's UK Championship, marking the beginning of their trilogy of finals. Davis maintained his momentum, securing his first world titles in 1981 and 1983. Despite Higgins' resurgence with a narrow 16-15 win in the 1981 UK Championship, Davis asserted dominance, emerging victorious in 15 of their subsequent 18 encounters. Their clashes included the 1988 Grand Prix final and their final encounter in the last 32 of the 1989 British Open. The latter stands out as Higgins, competing for the first time since sustaining a foot injury, displayed remarkable resilience and determination, hopping around the table for each shot. Number 5. Stephen Hendry v. Jimmy White. A showdown between Stephen Hendry and Jimmy White holds significant importance in snooker history, reminiscent of the epic matchups of the previous decade. Hendry, the seasoned professional, faced off against White, the crowd-pleasing player known for his flair. They clashed in 4 world finals, with Hendry emerging victorious on each occasion. Hendry initiated this rivalry by winning the first of 3 consecutive Masters semi-final meetings en route to claiming the 1990 title. He secured his inaugural world crown with an 18-12 triumph at the Crucible later that year. Hendry continued his dominance, overcoming a 14-8 deficit to win 18-14 in 1992 and comfortably defeating White with an 18-5 victory in 1993. In the pivotal moment of the 1994 final, tied at 17-17, White, often dubbed the Nearly Man, faltered by missing a crucial black, allowing Hendry to calmly seal the victory with a 57 break. Their significant clashes dwindled as both players entered the twilight of their career, although White's supporters found solace in his solid 10-4 victory over Hendry in the Crucible's opening round in 1998. A nostalgic encounter occurred in the first round of the 2010 UK Championship, a tense 17-frame battle where Hendry once again emerged victorious, narrowly defeating White 9-8. This enduring rivalry between Hendry and White remains a cornerstone of snooker history, characterized by thrilling matchups. Number 4. Ronnie O'Sullivan v. Mark Selby. The rivalry between Ronnie O'Sullivan and Mark Selby epitomizes a clash of styles. O'Sullivan's flair and rapid gameplay pitted against Selby's strategic approach and relentless determination. In his 2013 autobiography, O'Sullivan famously dubbed Selby the torturer for his unwavering resolve, particularly evident when trailing in matches. Their memorable encounters commenced in the 2007 UK Championship semi-finals, where O'Sullivan clinched a remarkable 9-8 victory, including a final frame 1-4-7. The drama continued in the 2008 Welsh Open final, with Selby staging a comeback from 8-5 down to triumph 9-8. Throughout various tournaments, O'Sullivan and Selby exchanged victories. O'Sullivan asserted dominance in the 2008 Premier League final with a commanding 7-2 win, followed by a 10-8 triumph in the first of their 3 Masters final clashes. However, Selby showcased his trademark resilience in 2010, rallying from a 9-6 deficit to stun O'Sullivan 10-9. Their encounters witnessed fluctuations. Selby secured a narrow 4-3 victory in the 2013 European Tour's Antwerp Open, where O'Sullivan responded with a decisive 10-4 win in the 2014 Masters final. Selby's remarkable comeback from 8-3 and 10-5 down culminated in an 18-14 triumph at the Crucible. In their recent Masters showdown, O'Sullivan emerged victorious with a 6-3 win in the quarter-finals, extending his head-to-head record against Selby to 12-8. With their contrasting styles, O'Sullivan and Selby promised to deliver more thrilling matchups in the future. Number 3. Ronnie O'Sullivan v. Stephen Hendry. Ahead of the 2002 World Championship semi-final showdown between Ronnie O'Sullivan and Stephen Hendry, tension mounted in Sheffield as the Rocket initiated a verbal altercation on the eve of the match. Recalling a previous incident that led O'Sullivan to harbour no respect for Hendry, that defending champion expressed his desire to swiftly dispatch Hendry back to Scotland for a leisurely summer break. The most gratifying outcome for me would be to swiftly send him back to Scotland for a relaxing summer hiatus. Despite O'Sullivan's verbal provocations, Hendry remained composed. The subsequent semi-final unfolded with Hendry emerging triumphant, securing a 17-13 victory. However, Hendry's journey culminated in defeat to Peter Ebdon in the final. Number 2. Mark Allen v. Stuart Bingham. In the lead-up to their 2011 Australian Goldfields Open quarter-final, Mark Allen and Stuart Bingham found themselves in a tense situation. Allen initiated the conflict by alleging that Bingham lacked courage. Despite Allen's remarks, Bingham emerged victorious in the match, clinching the tournament title and securing his first professional win. Instead of quelling the rivalry, Allen's comment intensified with competition. Over time, the two players reconciled their differences. Stuart Bingham, in particular, openly acknowledged that Allen's offhand remark served as motivation for his 2015 World Championship triumph. What began as verbal sparring transformed into a narrative of mutual respect and sportsmanship between Mark Allen and Stuart Bingham. Number 1. Quinton Hann v. Andy Hicks. During the 2004 World Championship, tensions escalated between Quinton Hann and Andy Hicks, extending beyond the confines of the game. The atmosphere at the Crucible was electrified, and following a tumultuous conclusion with Hicks emerging victorious, emotions reached a boiling point. Upon shaking hands, Hicks added fuel to the fire with a comment implying Hann's elimination from the top 16, intensifying the situation. This sparked an unfriendly exchange and a brief scuffle, necessitating the intervention of the referee to separate them. In retaliation, Hann allegedly responded with a provocative remark, challenging Hicks to a street fight for a substantial sum. Hicks declined the offer, leading Mark King, also bald, to step forward and confront Hann in the ring. For more great snooker videos, click on the screen now.